Hello, my name is Chris Casey, and I want to thank you again for the nomination to be the commencement speaker. I wanted to take the time to run through the outline I submitted and just kind of talk about what my speech might sound like. So I'm titling my commencement outline A Journey of Change, How We're Leading for the Common Good. The choice to go back to school is really one that is challenging. You know it's going to require an investment of your time. It's going to be something that you have to be willing to challenge your beliefs, and you have to be willing to be coached. And for those graduating this year, this really has been a time of change that you are really going to have all three of those buckets have maybe something that you didn't expect going into your graduate education. For all of us, the beginning, even entering classes, really was a surge of change. I remember when I was applying for graduate school, all of the entrance exams were really made to be an in-person experience. It wasn't made to be a digital format. And that really started the change in what my path at graduate school would look like. And for all of us, probably what our education experience would be like when we entered St. Thomas. The other area that we really were learning about was how do we respond to something like the murder of George Floyd, and how do we have conversations in our communities, our classrooms, our workplaces around race, ethnicity, and diversity. It really challenged us and brought a whole nother level of change on top of the pandemic that we had in the constantly changing environment within our workplaces. So as we entered the walls of St. Thomas, our classes really were going to be something that St. Thomas had never seen before. And that's why I call kind of the next phase for all of us as we entered our graduate school education really the messy middle. We had to find new ways to learn, we had to find ways to try, adapt, and then try again. I remember for me, there really, in my first classes during the COVID 19 pandemic, there wasn't a precedent for how our remote classes were going to work. It was a whole different format, and our group projects ended up becoming Zoom projects. When we thought a lot of the changes that we were experiencing and having were going to be just temporary, we quickly saw they were going to be permanent. So, us as classmates had to take the time. A lot of the ways that we didn't have answers, we had to work together and try to figure out what that answer would be. And for us, those of us managing teams in our workplaces, there really wasn't a lot of direction. And having us together, our professors, our classmates, the ability to take what we think could be the right solution, work together, and come back and help provide the direction when it was needed at our workplaces or our classes. We gave solutions when a lot of people didn't have them, and we had the chance to test them during our time in education here at St. Thomas. So we're always going to know that we try to be a step ahead, and St. Thomas and our graduate education really was the pathway for us to get this. And we're ready to be leaders that can now move on to our next phase. So we're all going to have change now, once again, as we leave our time here at St. Thomas. What I would say is our change next is going to be what is going to be an upwards and onwards experience. We've had our years of training. It's now time for us to go. We have to continue to think about what we've learned here. How do we lead ethically and responsibly? And when we don't know where to go, we're always going to have our classmates and our professors that we can always put our training wheels back on, talk to each other again, and then remove them and go back into the workplace. But as St. Thomas has taught us, it's really our time to lead for the common good. Each of us have our window of opportunity that we're given in our lives to drive change forward. And it's time for our generation now to make our impact. I can't wait to see what all of us are going to do as we leave St. Thomas and put ourselves on the path to lead for the common good for all that are to come, not only here at St. Thomas, but for those in our communities. Thank you, and best of luck to everyone here today.